For those of you just tuning in, I was shadow banned on my TikTok because one of my videos went viral in Africa, and then I got like 5 strikes in a day. I won 2 appeals already, and so let's see how that goes. I'm just here to hang out and chat a little bit and see if some people want to ask me some questions or not. Digital euro, yeah, they're not going to do this in the USA, right? The digital dollar, they say it's going to be, they're probably technologically incapable of doing it anyway. So, but in the eurozone, no, are you kidding me? Like countries like Hungary, they have like 10% of people in Hungary, they still get paid in cash. They pay for everything in cash. Same in Eastern Germany or many places in Germany, they're not at all. Do you think Germany is an advanced nation that can switch to a digital euro? No, they're not. No. They can't do it. The Germans are not advanced at all. When we were using these tap to pay cards, you tap it and say beep, paid. They had that in Germany like a decade later. There's still many places in Germany where you can't even do that today. It's so weird. Like even Hungary is more advanced in this sense than in Budapest. You can use your tap to pay card wherever you go, but not in Germany. Germany is becoming a third world country. Last time I was there, in the west of Germany, I was near some place like, I don't know what it was called, Karlsruhe or something. But these places look like shit, man. Bremen, Hamburg, inner city, it's so bad. It's so many bums everywhere. It looks like they don't have money to maintain the city centers anymore. Yeah. Is it really that bad in Europe? Yeah, someone writes that they want to move from the States. I welcome everybody who wants to come back to Europe because you're going to be in competition with the other immigrants. And I prefer our own people returning to Europe. We need to make a stand here. My long-term vision for Europe is things are going to get really bad, but we need all the men we can get willing to fight for this continent. Because this is it. Did you know that historically speaking, colonies of a mother civilization never outlive the mother? So if Europe dies, you can expect, historically speaking, that South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, USA, Canada, all of it will die because you need that mother, the backbone. Most white people still live in Europe. I think Europe has about 700 million white people. That's more than twice as many as there are in the USA. The USA has maybe like 220, 240 million white people. So Europe has almost 3 times as many white people than the USA does. We're the backbone of our people. We cannot give this up. We have to fight for this, We cannot surrender. Someone saw Eva. Oh, Vlaardingerbroek. Oh, that one, yeah. Belgium are stopping single men coming to Belgium, right? I hope so. I hope they're doing that all over in Europe, but it doesn't look like it though. If you look at the ships of the European Union, like there are some German vessels out there in the Mediterranean. They're just playing taxi service, picking people up, and bringing them over here. And they're all single males. It's just ridiculous. But they can't come because, especially if they're not qualified for anything, what are we supposed to do with them? If half of the Africans who come to Europe today can't even read and write, what the hell are we supposed to do with them? If they don't grasp the concept that if you want to drive a truck here and be a truck driver, you need a diploma, you need some kind of a degree, right? And they don't have that, and they don't want to get it, right? Just clear them out, yeah. I found just 2 people on TikTok who also speak about the same things I speak about, and both of them are women. I thought that was interesting. One from Slovenia, one from England. I thought that was very interesting that the women are more right-wing than most men that I meet. Some women, not all women, but if I find very right-wing people, they're women. They're on TikTok, yeah. I'll type the names over here. I don't want to speak it out loud, but... Well, you can. I suppose I can say it's Sophia Aragona. That one's from England, and the other one is Daria, with triple A in the end, I believe. Just Daria, like that. She's from Slovenia. Oh, you know Sophia? Yeah. She's back to speaking. I saw her latest video blew up about the cenotaph in England. They were trying to mess it up, right? Yeah, your English friends are very fed up. Yeah. I suppose so. It's like this everywhere. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for the right moment to make the right stand, right? Like, how are we going to take back charge when, like, if you look at the Netherlands as an example, the big decisions being made in that country are not made in the democracy at all. They're going to turn the Netherlands with Belgium and a part of Germany into the tri-state city and pack it full with like 30 or 40 million people. But this has been decided by basically the big corporations, right? But they've never been told. The common people in the Netherlands have still not been told officially that that's what's going to happen to their country. It's just so insane. Someone says they're in Michigan, USA, and it's a cesspool. Countryside is not. Yeah, that's same in Europe. Countryside is always very beautiful. But you get too close to the real cities. The suburbs in Europe are usually fine, but then the city centers of Europe, it's turning into shit everywhere, man. Like, I used to live in Utrecht in the Netherlands, and there was this big-ass mosque right in the middle, right in the heart of the city. Yeah, I could hear it 5 times a day where I was working and living. I could hear it, the mosque calling for prayer 5 times a day. It's like, that is insane, man. Someone asked what I'd vote for in the Netherlands. The upcoming elections in the Netherlands, 22nd of November, I believe. I would vote for Thierry Baudet. Even though I don't necessarily have to like him, but his opinions, his viewpoints are exactly what I would support in the Netherlands. The Dutch government doesn't give a fuck about me, I think. No, it was when I was in the time that when I was on Twitter. Before I was on TikTok, I was on Twitter a lot. Then at one point I got police officers in the Netherlands to my door complaining about something. There was one tweet I said I felt like we're at war with immigrants, and they came to my door telling me that I can't say that. That is just insane, man. That is just insane. So, voting will help, yeah. It's all you can do as a citizen. So, yeah, definitely vote for the right-wing party, so at least that the media can't deny what's going on, right? Oh, I get a lot of questions here. Someone asked, should I vote for PVV or FVD in the Netherlands? It's a bit of a specific question, but I think Geert Wilders is a Zionist Jew-ass, so no, I would not vote for that. I think he's, Yeah, it's insane that they're allowed to broadcast a call to prayer in public. Yeah, I don't like this situation. Because we didn't vote for this, right? So in the Netherlands, whoever gets to decide, they can build mosques wherever they want, and all of a sudden, and at first they tell you, we're not going to have a call to prayer, and then of course they turn on the call to prayer, and then it's like, it's only during the day, and then it's, of course, they're going to do it at night as well, right? Come on, this is so awesome. Am I anti-migration or just anti-Islam? I'm anti-fucking everything that I don't like. I just want a place for our kind of people, preferably in Europe, where we can live a very good long life for the next few thousand years and basically do what we want to do and not have to deal with other people's feelings all the time. You know? Are the farmers making inroads in the Dutch parliament? Yeah, there is a party that represents them or claims to represent them, but I suspect it's just another globalist wing. But the farmers themselves are a very small group nowadays in the Netherlands. I think we have like 50,000 farms left. So that's not a lot of voters. And the media, man, the media are really trying so hard to make farmers look bad. The majority of Dutch people now think farmers are bad for nature or something. It's just crazy. It's just not all right. In Amsterdam, you never hear prayers. No, in Amsterdam, apparently they don't do that. But in Utrecht, they do. So in some cities, like smaller towns, like Breda as well, I know, they have these mosques shouting the azan. It's just horrible, man. It shouldn't be allowed. Go beyond the ice wall. What do you reckon will be the sparking point? I reason that nothing will happen until the Western middle class actually goes hungry. When they actually have nothing to eat, then they will finally revolt. But by that time, there needs to be a leadership in place to know what to do. Because if you want to be a leadership, you can't wait for people to go hungry. You need to know already what to do. But until then, nothing will happen because Dutch people, Germans, they are so well fed for the past 80 years or so. They've had a a time of peace. Their grandparents had war perhaps, but their parents had nothing but peace. And now the new generations, they may actually witness conflict and war again. Right? Yeah, Cherry Baudet does have a Jewish wife. Yeah. I don't know what his viewpoint on Israel is. It's a bit weird. That's why I don't like him necessarily. Maybe he is Jewish. I don't really like him, but at least the points of view they have are what I support. Right? The youth should be angry towards their own fathers for letting them down. I totally agree. And I think this may have something to do with the fact that these, well, the baby boomers and whoever came next, the millennials too, like, they had it so well, they thought by if you just work hard, you get everything you want, and it's just not true anymore. You can work your ass off nowadays and get nothing. What are my thoughts on the Israel-Palestine conflict? Bomb them, both of them. I don't see the point. I don't see any value in that territory. So, if Palestine or Israel is a threat to Europe, just nuke them. You know. I don't trust any politician. I think there's only one way. One true. Yeah. Who trusts politicians anyway? Politicians are really. They just get paid. They're paid actors. I think in the Netherlands we have our parliament. We call it the second chamber, Tweede Kamer, and it's just all of them are actors. They're just scripted actors. They receive via SMS the instructions on what to vote for and how to vote during plebiscites, and you know it's just insane. Man. Thoughts on the Finns? I like Finland. I've been there. Their women are, I think they are truly master race. They are so beautiful. The Finnish women are absolutely insanely beautiful. Yeah, Turkey also has a lot of mass immigration. Yeah, so everybody has this problem because you know it's all for economy. It's all for money. Like the ruling elites in all these countries, they just want cheap labor. They want to have an affordable lower class to do the labor, and they want to have a rich middle class to sell their stuff to, so that the elites can make most money at the lowest cost. And this is the same principle we see everywhere. You know? Hello from Ireland. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot. So here's somebody says they had 10 million immigrants into Turkey in the past 10 years. Yeah. The Netherlands didn't have that many. The Netherlands had maybe, in the past 50 years, we had maybe 3 or 4 million immigrants. But the country we have is overpopulated. We have a small country, and it's just everywhere you go, there's roads. Everywhere you go, there's buildings. There's not that much nature left anymore. Socialism. Hello, sir. Hope you're well. Hope you're well too. Hello from Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria is going to be the power center in all of Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa. They're a country with 220 million people. Germany only has like 75 million. France has like 60 million. Britain, 60 or so. So Nigeria is as big, in terms of population, is as big as Germany plus UK plus France, right? This is a force to be reckoned with. Eventually, they're going to get military power, and so we're going to have to deal with that. In Finland, someone writes, our biggest president candidate is a gay dating an Arab. Yeah, we're doomed. But these are the elites pushing this. The people are fine. This is the problem. We need to get normal people in power, right? That's all we have to do, really. In what way do you see the entire world changing from all that's going on now? That's a good question. China is going to be the world's middle class. Asia is going to have the world's middle class, not Europe, not the West anymore. Europe is going to become an industrial zone making products for Asia, and Africa is going to supply the labor for it. The elites are doing this to unite Europe. It's a conspiracy, considering. I don't know. Yeah. The idea is, George Soros believes in the open society, and he actually wrote that he wants to use the European Union as the start to make his open society, the global open society. So it's first Europe, and then you want to go bigger and make it the whole world, right? With a world government. Yeah. It's a bit sad. So for those of you tuning in now, I was shadow banned because in just one day I got 5 strikes. Although I won 2 appeals now, 3 are still pending. I got shadow banned so that I get almost no viewers. So I thought, why don't I do a little chat show? I'll just talk to my followers. At least the live is still working, so I guess I'll do that more often maybe. Someone asks, do you think Dylan Yazilgos would bring any good to the Netherlands? Dylan, yes, that's our Dutch, quote unquote. She's Turkish or part Jewish, I think. She's our Minister of Justice now. She did not study law. She's the first Minister of Justice in the Netherlands who did not study law. What am I supposed to think she'll bring? Nothing. She's just a globalist puppet. She's scripted. She receives every morning an email which says what the lines that she's supposed to speak to the people that day. These people don't use their brains for thinking. They use their brain to crack nuts or something. You are very reasonable during this time, yeah. Only natives should be in leadership position. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Where things are going, Europe, they want to turn Europe into a global open society, but how are you going to do that? We have like more than 100 different languages, more than 200 different ethnicities. I mean, native languages. We have never been a unity. Christianity was the closest thing we ever got to unite us, but that fell apart. That fell apart into Catholicism and Protestantism and Orthodoxy and so on. And nowadays, in countries like the Netherlands, for the past week, I've been asking people on TikTok live, hey, do you believe in God? What God do you believe in? Nothing. No one believes in God. At least in the Netherlands, the Dutch people I speak to, no one believes in God anymore. They are not religious anymore. What do you think of RFK Jr. for president? I think he has the same position on Israel and so on as many of the others. What is he really different about? Oh, the vaccinations. The vaccinations, yeah, he's doing that differently. That's okay. Vaccinations are different, yeah. I don't think he'll be a good president because you have to be a great speaker, and he can't speak yet. He's breaking up voice. It's bad, What's my opinion on the Jews? The Semitic people, they are generally from North Africa, Middle East, and some West Asian parts. They've played a massively influential role, especially in the occult. If you know, for example, that Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, also Catholicism have all been deeply influenced by Jewish occultism. You can say about that what you want, but basically what we now call the scientific worldview is their invention. They came up with it. They have a tremendous power over how we perceive reality, and most people, my own Germanic people, are too fucking stupid to see it. Luckily, I can see it. I can see the deception, but our people, our normies, they cannot see it. They will not see it. So the Jewish occultists, they control our reality. They design it. They manipulate and deceive. There's nothing we can do about that. You can try to wake your normies up, but they won't listen. Yeah, the Pope is a Jew. So, if you want to read a good book about the Jews, read a book by Israel Shahak. Let me Google it. Let me see what the title was. Israel Shahak is a Jewish author who kind of discloses what the Jews are all about. The book is called Jewish History, Jewish Religion. That one. I think it was the smaller number. Have I said enough? Yeah. I think they moved a lot of their people to Palestine. This is how they started Israel in the first place. I watched a couple of clips from this movie someone is talking about, but I also don't really watch that topic that much because I don't really care about it. I've got other things to do, looking forward to the future. Imagine the amount of wood or coal you would need to burn so much. You would need so many trucks full of wood and coal to do it, and you can't do it. I hardly ever watched Nicolas Fuentes, so I don't know much about this guy. What's my opinion on Ataturk? Was he the reformer who made Turkey democratic and secular? Yeah. I suppose I prefer an Ataturk to an Erdogan, yeah. But that's all I can say about it. I can't say much more. What's my opinion on Ireland? Have you heard that the Israeli leaders said they want to send 2 million of the Palestinians to Ireland? That's just genocide. How dare you do that, you know? I've never been to Ireland. I've been to Scotland, but Ireland, if Ireland looks a bit like Scotland in terms of nature, then yeah, it must be a really nice place. You know, I think the Irish, damn man, you've been under oppression from the British for so long, and now they're sending you all the Muslims. Okay, awesome, right? This is so mean. Like, you need I don't know what you can do. We all need to act together as Europeans. The native Europeans all together. We understand now we are in the same predicament. We have to work together in this. We have to fight for this cause, to liberate our peoples, to give ourselves self-determination again, carve out a new path in the future. Also by shedding a lot of ballast, like if we have too much weight, drop it. Drop the weight and then move on. Are you religious? I do believe there's more than just matter. So I certainly don't believe everything's just matter in motion as the scientists do. There's something more to it, something spiritual. There's a spiritual power or force that you can call God. You know, some people call the nothingness nothing. It's nothing there, right? I believe that this nothingness that scientists always talk about really contains within it the potential for everything. And so you could call it by a different name, God. I think someone asked, was the painter right? Yeah, largely. You should definitely read more of his speeches and not just the book. The speeches contain way more of a worldview and information there. Did you know that the painter in one of his speeches predicted that within 300 years, within 3 centuries, atheism would become a sort of new religion? Well, he was almost right because it happened in a century. Atheism became the new religion for the Europeans. Atheist communism, the Bolshevism. You know, in his speeches, it is very clear that they're fighting the atheist, Bolshevik, communists, right? That's what they were doing. They were trying to stop Europe from becoming what it is today. This atheist, LGBT garbage. Italy says no fake meat from Bill Gates. Yeah. Why would you eat that shit anyway? Why would you eat fake meat? Because if you like to eat meat, you want your animal protein and your animal fat. By the way, that's what your body is made of. That is the healthiest food for you anyway. And if you don't like to eat meat, why would you eat something that looks like it? So it doesn't make sense, right? That's interesting. Someone's great grandmother spoke to the painter. Right, in Northern Europe, food is still good, yeah. Like, you can literally look up the difference between a McDonald's hamburger sold in Europe and the one sold in the USA. The European burger does not contain certain toxics that they put in the American burger, like soy. They put soy in their burgers in the USA, not in Europe. No, we won't have another painter. We will have something different, because this time it's no joke anymore, right? Let's not forget, he lost the war, so that's over. What we need today is rebuilding Europe from the ground up. You know, it's going to be very, very different, more difficult task. So I decided to do this little freestyle chat, because I got shadow banned today, and I don't know when my numbers will go back up on my video system on TikTok. You know, the question is not whether we need to wait for this or that one man. The question is, we will do something in the next 40 years. No matter what, no matter how, we will do it. What else are we going to do? You know, just sit and wait and watch our people die out? You know, what is most sickening to me, I find that in the Netherlands and other countries, they're experimenting with genital surgeries for kids under age 16. In the Netherlands, there was a 14-year-old who had his genitals removed surgically, and he died on the operating table due to an E. coli bacteria infection. You know? That kind of stuff. It is so so insane. We are a society. We've become a society that is attacking its own children, its own youngest generation, while at the same time we're opening the borders to mass immigration into Europe. Why are you doing this? So if a woman is born in Africa, she can have as many children as she wants because she can send them all to Europe. But if a woman is born in Europe, all of a sudden, oh, you can't have children, it's bad for the environment, think about climate change, think about the volcanic eruptions, it's all your fault. You know, that's so crazy. Europe is being collapsed from within. It is definitely collapsing from within. Yeah. I'm 19 years old and I feel like nothing will happen in my lifetime except it will get worse. No, something will happen. Like I said it earlier, when people go hungry in Europe, they're gonna fight, and you need to be ready for that because it will happen. Some kind of unexpected global supply chain collapse could cause Europeans to be very hungry one day. And then it's time to run for the capitals and take over your parliaments, you know? Do you think the USA will survive? Yeah, of course, 2024. The United States is an engine operated by its elites. They're not going to allow it to crash. They're going to try to stay on top of the world, but they will sacrifice Europe for it. So as a European, I'm not happy with the American leadership at all, because they're going to sell us out so they can stay rich, right? They're going to sell us to China if they have to, but that's how they'll do it. But who will win the 2024 election? I don't think they will allow Trump to win, so not Biden, he's really too old. So they're going to put in a black woman, I think. Maybe the Obama woman, Michael, or someone else. Do you think they can do the vice president? She is mentally not fit, you know. It's so weird. They have these extremely unintelligent people in power positions in the USA. At least that doesn't exist yet in Europe. In Europe, at least, if you're a prime minister, you have your wits. But in the USA, you can be a vice president and have an IQ of a dumb dog, you know? I think what we need in Europe is to build up some serious leadership. You know, so far, all the different factions and parties that I've seen, they either support Israel or they oppose white people. So I want to do something, but I'm not rich, and I feel like that would let them punish me financially. Yeah. This is how they do it nowadays, right? With the trucker convoy, you saw that in Canada. They went after people's bank accounts for donating $25 to the trucker convoy. Can you believe that? And one of these so-called leaders of the trucker convoy is still in jail, I think, or still in court. It's crazy. I thought the trucker convoy was supposed to be the starting signal for the Great Western Revolt, but it didn't happen. We need something like that in Europe on a very large scale. What country in Europe has the political will to fix the immigration problems? Only Hungary. But they're a small country, they don't have the political influence. The EU is a communist system that is ruled by intellectuals, autists, and they honestly couldn't care less about the native population. They only look at money, and if they can replace our population with a different population and make more money, they'll just do that. They don't care. They just care about optimizing the population for financial motives. Yeah, the vaccine protests. Yeah, in the Netherlands, up to 90% of people got one of their COVID shots. I didn't get any. I'm clean. But 1 in 10%. That's all you can count on. Only 10% of the people refuse to get the jab in the Netherlands. That's extreme. Yeah, the other Johannes. Yeah, I've been in touch with him. Yeah. I'm thinking about how to do interviews. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll go on sometime. Yeah. Any thoughts on Red Ice TV? I've heard about them. Never really watched them too much. So what's the future for Europe then? I think you can write off such a large portion of the population. They're just not going to make it. Just forget about them. The old people, the boomers and so on, they're all history. That's ancient history. And then, maybe millennials will lead the revolt. But in the end, it's going to be Gen Z. They call it Generation Zyklon. They're going to have to do the fighting. Are they up to it? Half of them are LGBT. The other half are what? You got to find the ones, even if it's just 4%. If you have a motivated 4% of the population, you can win. And that's what we need to do. You're always spot on, yeah. Try to be. I just look at what I think is really true and then just speak my mind about that. And often it turns out I am right. Not always. I get it wrong sometimes. But this upsets so many people in power because they rule by deception. They just want things their way, right? They don't care about normal people. Yeah, TikTok bans my accounts. But I got my main account back like 5 times or so. It was banned 5 times. I got it back 5 times. So I'm going to try to keep it now. I try to be smarter about posting radical content on my backup account. Have you read a certain book by Martin Luther? Yeah, that one. I read it. Sorry. I think generally he was right? He was like a Protestant reformer. Yeah, great. But Protestantism itself also looks back to the Jewish prophets, like, Moses and so on. So Protestantism itself, just like Catholicism, it's all still very deeply influenced by Judaism. And you got to be aware of that, at least. South Africa is the home, and out in the culture is the cause for the pollution rainbow. Yeah, the rainbow stuff is so crazy. What do you think of Xi Jinping? I can't pronounce his name. Chinese people will always say that you didn't say it right. Xi Jinping, whatever. I think he's the best leader for China. His personal mission is to have revenge for the humiliation. From 1850 to 1950, China lost every war with the West, and they call it the century of humiliation. And this guy, Xi Jinping, the present leader of China, he wants revenge, and you know what? He's going to get it too. It looks like he's going to get it. I think he's really after the British Empire, so the USA is a target. But of course, if he can destroy Europe along the way, he'll do that too. We have to be very, very wary of the Chinese. They can be very friendly and cooperative, seemingly. All right, they'll still poison you and kill you if they can. What do you think is the native homeland for white people? Obviously Europe plus Western Russia and like the Pontic steppe. Basically, I showed a map of where the birch trees grow in Europe, kind of that area. It's a very large area, Western Eurasia, basically. Do you think Israel is comparable to apartheid in South Africa? No, because the white South Afrikaners, they were the first to arrive there. It was empty land. From the coast to like 1,000 miles in, it was empty land. And they built their own nation, whereas the Israeli Jews, they came from Europe, from Belarus and so on, from Eastern Europe. And they arrived there to Palestine and basically took over what was there, because it wasn't just empty. There were people living there in Palestine already. So, it's more like the blacks who took over in South Africa, those would be the Jews who took over in Palestine, something like that. People are finally coming around. I hope so. I hope people are waking up, man. Like I said earlier, I think you could count on losing 80% of the European, native people before something turns around, really. But the survivors, the 20% survivors of us, we're going to win this. We're going to win this hard. We're not going to give up or lose or cry about anything. We're just going to take back what is ours and then make it better. Thanks for sharing the live. I think I'll stay here for another hour or so if the internet connection holds up. You can subscribe to my newsletter on www.jmk.info in case you haven't already. So I'm just hanging out, just chatting with people if they care to ask me some questions or not, you know, on a lazy Friday night. Alright, I don't know if people are still watching, but I will, let's see if I can think of some things to say. I think there is enough material, like the younger generations, like the Gen Z and younger ones, the ones in high schools today. I think they're catching on to what's going on in the world, right? In the USA, you can clearly see that when George Floyd was killed, quote unquote, he wasn't killed, he died of a heart attack. And while the cops were actually waiting for the ambulance, they called for him and they sent him to jail like 20 years to life for. Come on, the cops were innocent. But then some other kid died, Jonathan Lewis. Say his name, Jonathan Lewis. He died by being kicked to death by 15 of these thugs, and no one cared. The mainstream media hid the story for 2 weeks. So what would it take for some kind of European resurgence? Is that even possible at this point? Yes, it is possible. In each country to their own, of course. We have our own. We have so many different countries. We need different leadership there. But yes, it can be done. The natives are going to figure out that we are being replaced in our cities. In many cities in Western Europe, we're already minorities, basically. You know, and when this comes to the countryside, people are going to figure this out. You know, we're going to have to fight for our survival somehow. You know, it can't be a coincidence that people are waking up just as stuff is going down in the world. Yeah. Of course, people will wake up. Some kind of a survival instinct will eventually kick in. You know, that's inevitable. People are not going to. You know, I suppose it's perfectly possible at some point the normies will experience a sort of cognitive panic. They're going to freak out and they're going to start doing what is right. They're going to start pushing back finally. Who will wake up first, Western nations or European nations? I think in the USA you have your Republicans in the countryside, you know, the ones who can buy guns and so on. Yeah, they are already awake basically, but over here in Europe, it's going to require more of a psychological transformation. It's going to take a little while, I think. What's going to happen to change to make any of this revolt stuff possible? There's going to be people like me, more and more of us. I've already mentioned two others. Like there's Sofia Aragona from England. There's Daria from Slovenia. They're all on TikTok. They're speaking out, and they're reaching people. They get their videos go viral. So people see us. We're not invisible anymore. The real right, like the real right wing, like me and those ones. We are pro-European and pro-white. No excuses. We don't take a side in Israel and Palestine. We take side. We side with ourselves. You know. Eventually, there's going to be a snowball effect, and some of us will become leaders of movements. Yeah. And I think religion will play a large role in any kind of revolt in Europe, because we're going to revolt against the atheism, right? Yeah, someone's Gen Z sister woke up and became conservative. Yeah, of course they're waking up. They realize their taxes are going to the immigrants. So. Will America fall and be built into something new, leading towards National Socialism? America might fall because the southern states, you almost have no more white children there anyway. You're losing those territories in the end. Yeah. And then in the northern states, there may be places where you can hold out. Together with, say, the white Canadians, you're going to have something new, yeah. But you got to capture the resources, you know. Control the countryside. Make sure you own the farms and the water and the energy, all of it. I see a lot of very far right-wing people, the ones who know about the painter and support that. I see very lot of them going through a personal transformation. They're becoming more religious, for example, like deeply religious. And I think that is a good thing, because that will give you the spark, the fire that you need later on in this movement to truly fight through, the evil of it all. This really is a war between good and evil. Yeah, this really is a war for our survival, and you can't do that on some atheistic economic principle. You can only fight to the end, to the bitter end, if you know that something is pushing you that will never give up on you, and that is religion, your God. Yeah, religion is needed. You cannot have this kind of blood bond without religion. Everything has to be very spiritual. You have to understand that your blood binds you to your God together, Because this is the whole problem with our society. It's so atheistic and economical, so materialistic. That's what's killing us on the inside. You have no resolve. It's made us into individualists, All new energy comes from, in the end, from some spiritual source. When civilizations die, they are rebooted. If you believe in the cycles like Spengler and so on, civilizations come and go, but when they renew themselves, it is because they tap into this really strong spiritual source that was once the source of their people to begin with. So it matters. Nobody will fight to the bitter end for money. No one will do that. You will do it because you have a spirit burning inside your heart. Yeah, Christianity may be this and that, but then again, your spirituality is not an offshoot of Judaism. Your spirituality is of you, of your blood. So, in what ways could we whites prepare for our new future? Skills. You got to learn the skills now, because when the revolt starts, you need to have them already. So what do you need in terms of skills? Maybe you need some weapons training. Maybe you need some survival training. You get your survival gear, know how to use it, know how to make a fire, know how to purify water if you need to drink polluted water and so on. But especially communication. You got to know how do you talk to if the internet goes down, do you have some kind of a walkie-talkie system, right? So you can communicate with your peers and get things done. Those who communicate the best in the end, I think they will control territories. Right? If you want to control any territory, you need to know how to talk to each other. Those kinds of things. So under the United Nations, what they've done to Europe is technically a genocide. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're replacing us with immigration. The Kalergi plan, have you heard about it? By Coudenhove Kalergi? It was very true. This is what they're doing. They're trying to transform Europe into this homogenized race of people, and they think that's necessary to create world peace. As though if we were all one human race, there won't be any war anymore. Of course, there will be war. There will be war for other reasons. Right? There will still be clans and people with different affiliations. Mixing the races into one homogeneous brown race will not lead to world peace at all. It will just lead to tribal conflict. You will still have tribes, and it will be tribal conflict. It doesn't make any sense, A lot of these things that the globalists cook up are just imaginary. Everybody should be able to lift another person easily. Learn a real martial art. People should, especially the men, everybody should be strong. The women too. I saw parts of that movie. I don't see this whole insurgency going very well without any institutional support. No, you need leadership. You need people who really know how to inspire others. Great speakers. Maybe I will start writing some speeches and start performing those so I can improve on my actual speaking skills as well. That's how I started originally. Originally, I was writing speeches and I turned them into YouTube videos. But then TikTok came, and then I noticed that I got a lot more views on TikTok, and so I switched to TikTok. Alright, I'm gonna wrap it up because I think it's not too busy anymore. So see you next time.